Hello, BookTube, and welcome back to my tour of my little bookroom's library here. This is basically all that's in this room. There's an old bed with a little dog on it. There's a green shaded banker's lamp. And there's shelf after shelf after shelf of books. This is floor to ceiling books. Uh, and also, over on the nightstand, a little blue Kindle with 10,000 books on it. Uh, that is as light as a feather, is goes everywhere with me, barely ever needs charging. It doesn't require any space, doesn't gather any dust bunnies, doesn't do anything of the kind. But anyway, that's a subject for another video. We are finishing up with this last Joe bookcase. After which I don't know what I want to do. I mean, you're all universal in your liking of these library tour videos. That's just clear as day. So, and I like them too. Of course I do. Not only to make a visual record for myself, but also just because it's fun to talk about the books that I like the most. Although not all of the books in this room have been that. But I really think that the little book room, the more I think about it, the more I think it needs a bit of an overhaul. I always say that, but I think I'm coming up on a stretch of days where that might actually be something I would be able to do. So I think that I'm going to wrap up this bit of the library tour with this shelf, with this bookcase. We're at the end of it, and then I'll try to figure out what I want to do after this. Maybe embrace the chaos, maybe embrace the slipstream, even though the books change all the time. Maybe do that. Or maybe do a library tour, since you like them so much, maybe do a library tour of the rest of Hyde Cottage. The problem with that, isn't much of a problem, but the problem with that I can think of is that a lot of the rest of Hyde Cottage is organized. At least a little organized, so that all the books about books are all in one place. All the biographies almost are in one place. Almost all of the history is in one place. And even when it's in 2 or 3 places, it's all together in those places. And I worry that videos like that would have, something to please a few people, but not something to please everybody. But maybe that's a silly worry. Anyway, let's do this shelf, and then we will put this library tour on hiatus for a bit. So we'll do the Transwise books first, and they are these two old Marvel Essential volumes. Marvel Comics loves to reprint their own stuff. They did it all throughout the 70s. They've done it all throughout the 80s. And they came up with an idea for paperback reprint collected volumes on cheap paper in black and white to keep the price down. They called it the Essential line. And they did a lot of them. They did a lot of Marvel Comics Essentials. I had a lot of them once upon a time because I'm a big fan of the superhero comic book companies reprinting their old stuff. I was a big fan of that even when their new stuff was also really good. Now I'm exclusively a fan of that because their new stuff is awful. And the only 2 Marvel Essential volumes that I've kept are these 2. And they are the Marvel Essential volumes of the greatest book ever written in the history of humanity. I refer, of course, to the official handbook of the Marvel Universe, Deluxe Edition. This is Volume 1 and Volume 2 of that. And Volume 1 and Volume 2 are the only ones I have. I don't have there's an annual update. I don't have the volume for the deceased anymore. I don't have anything like that anymore. I just have these 2. I don't even have, I think there's a Volume 3 in the Marvel Essentials line, and I don't have that either. As you can tell, from the covers here, you might be able to tell, these are not narratives. This is an encyclopedia of different characters. You get a picture of the character, and then pictures of the character in action, and then a description of the character in extremely tight focused prose. Who they are, what is known about their past, what their superpowers are. You get that for every character in the Marvel Universe at the time. Every single one of them. Hero and villain. The original handbook of the Marvel Universe, non-deluxe edition, had shorter entries and for fewer characters. It was a hit, so Marvel went back and did the deluxe edition, and I love these things. I don't know why, but I do. There's such wonky wonder in these entries. There's so incredibly nerdy. Here is Mr. Fantastic, the leader of the Fantastic Four, soon to be a higher profile character than he has been in a few years, because the Fantastic Four is about to have a movie in theaters. A great big movie with an unbelievable dipsy doodle at the end. Good Lord. I need to watch it a few more times. It's extremely winning. And unlike Marvel's Thunderbolts, for instance, it's filmed in color. I don't know why Marvel's Thunderbolts is filmed in black and white. It's such a strange decision on Marvel's part. And it's not just black and white. There's a slight grainy gray mist even over the black and white. What the actors must be breathing in to breathe that. I have no idea why it looks the way it does. It is the gloomiest looking superhero movie I've ever seen. And not good. Just not good. It's just not good. It's going to do well in the theaters. Thunderbolts is. It's going to do well in the theaters, but it's just not good. It's cheaply looked. It looks cheap. It's full of dumb characters that nobody knows anything about. The lead actress, for some god unknown reason, a huge amount of the movie revolves around the main actress and her one facial expression. It's just, none of the characters are interesting. Anyway, the Fantastic Four is about to be a huge movie. So this tells you all about Reed Richards, the Mr. Fantastic. You get, there's a picture, and then you get, he has a 2-page spread, or a 3-page spread, because he is the founder of Marvel Comics. He's the leader of the flagship first comic book of the Stan Lee era. And a lot of these Handbook of the Marvel Universe, you get an original drawing, in addition to all the clips from other drawings. Like, for instance, here we have, oh goodness gracious, here we have all of the various sample panels of Mr. Fantastic in action. And all of them are drawn by John Byrne, and none of them are drawn by Jack Kirby. But what do we have here? Reed Richards is 6'1". He weighs 180 pounds. His eyes are brown. His hair is brown. And he possesses the ability to convert the mass of his entire body into a highly malleable state at will. In such a state, he can stretch, deform, expand, and compress his entire body or parts thereof into any contiguous shape he can imagine. He can extend his limbs, torso, or neck to great distances. The maximum length he can extend his body segments before becoming painful is about 1,500 feet. He can also extend his body in 2 directions, creating a canopy parachute a sheath, its thickness determined by the extent of its distension. He has compressed his body into the shape of a solid sphere, a cylinder, a cube, a toroid, and a rectangular prism. He can assume the shape of any solid object he can envision clearly as a volume no greater than 1.7 cubic feet. He can generate thin-walled shapes that enclose great volumes of space. Mr. Fantastic can flatten himself to the thickness of an average sheet of typing paper, 0.0035 inches, or narrow himself to a diameter small enough to pass through the eye of a number 2 beading needle. How his body's respiration and circulatory system function at these distorted extremes is yet unknown. Mr. Fantastic can alter his form in a matter of seconds, often much less, depending on the complexities of the shape, and revert to his normal humanoid shape within a similar time. The greater the distance he stretches, or the more extended the size of the object he becomes, the weaker his overall strength becomes. And it goes on like that. It goes on with every character like that. Every single character that you could imagine in Marvel Comics gets an entry of one kind or another. Let's do just one more, just to indulge me. What should we do? Just one more. There we go. Prince Namor the Submariner. Now here, we have another John Byrne picture. Prince Namor is arguably the first Marvel Comics superhero. Not the first in the modern era, but the first ever. And here we do get some Jack Kirby artwork, along with John Byrne, who was at the height of his popularity when this thing came out, so they're going to do a lot of him. What do we have for him? He's 6'2". He weighs 310 pounds. His eyes are blue-gray, and his hair is black. He has pointed ears and 2 vestigial wings growing on each ankle, which is a mutant characteristic. Keep in mind, the Prince Namor the Submariner is the first Marvel mutant. Mother was an undersea creature, and his father was a human. The Submariner possesses vast superhuman strength, enabling him to lift a maximum of at least 85 tons underwater or in air while he is still wet. Namor's strength rapidly dwindles the longer he is out of water. In an hour or so, he is down to a level in which he can lift only about 40 tons. He possesses all the attributes of his Homo moranis species, superhumanly strong physiology to enable him to withstand the greater water pressure and changes that occur beneath the sea, blood circulation enabling him to withstand freezing temperatures, and especially developed vision, which is more sensitive to the green portion of the visible spectrum. He possesses far greater superhuman strength than any other known Homo moranis, perhaps due to mutation. He can swim through water at a maximum speed of 60 miles an hour for several hours before tiring. Because he is a hybrid between an air-breathing Homo sapiens and water-breathing Homo moranis, the Submariner is amphibious, able to live indefinitely underwater or out of water. He has pink skin tone of his father rather than the bluish skin tone of his mother, and he was born with a benevolent mutation of wing-like appendages growing from his leg just above the ankle bone. These wings, which organically resemble the fins of a fish more than the pinions of a bird, enable him, in some as yet unknown manner, to fly. Namor can fly at a maximum speed of about 40 miles per hour and can maintain that in steady flight at his top speed for about 1 hour before fatigue forces him to alight. He can get airborne with a maximum load of about 2 tons, although it diminishes both his speed and endurance. Still in the prime of his life, the average lifespan of an Atlantean male is 122 years, Namor's natural powers have probably reached their peak. It's just pure geekhood. It goes on for just entry after entry after entry. It's an absolute blast. It's one of my favorite things, but one of you very kindly sent me the e-copies of the official handbook of the Marvel Universe, the deluxe edition. So no more struggling with that tiny little type. Wonderful, and just a wonderful thing. So those were the 2 Transwise books. Now we'll move on to the books on the shelf. So we have UK trade paperback of The Gene by Sid Mukherjee, all about the discovery and the nature of human genetics. A terrific popular science book by the author of The Emperor of All Maladies. Then we have a combined edition here of Edith Hamilton, the great Edith Hamilton. This is the Greek Way and the Roman Way in one volume, where she looks at ancient writers in ancient Greece and ancient Rome, talks about them, gives a little bit of history on them. Really a very learned but light-touched, very readable walkthrough of a lot of the classical words canon. I very much like... I know that this volume is neat, but I would still very much like to find really nice hardcovers of the Greek Way and the Roman Way with their dust jackets. That would be really nice. What do we have now? Oh, all right. We've seen this already. Not the same thing, but this is about Harold Kirker's book, The Architecture of Charles Bullfinch. We saw Bullfinch's Boston, and I think we've seen one other Bullfinch book. This is everything. This is not just Boston, and it's his architecture. It's the famous Bullfinch front. It's what remains today, what can be photographed today, and also floor plans and dimensions and designs and whatnot. Fascinating stuff. What else is here? Oh, okay. Douglas Fairbairn. This is A Squirrel Forever. Another in the entry in the list of things that we've seen in this room of people who adopt a wild animal. In this case, just a normal gray squirrel. This has artwork, I believe. Yeah, it has a few. There's a few pieces of artwork, not much. But these kinds of books, I really have a soft spot for them. I love them. I have never actually done it. I've never actually done it. I think that's why they have such appeal to me, whether you're adopting an owl or a squirrel or a hedgehog or a leveret or whatever. I think the books have such appeal for me because I've never done it. I have always lived with the animal that has not been wild the longest. I've always lived with Canis familiaris. And when you do that, you really can't adopt a wild animal. You really can't bring anything into the house. I could have, with some of my dogs, they wouldn't have minded, but most of them, no. Then we have Nathaniel Philbrick. This is The Heart of the Sea. This is just a pretty trade paperback of his book about the sinking of the whale ship Essex, sunk by a whale. So no sympathy to them. But it's a terrific, terrific narrative. We have a Norton Critical Edition, an old Norton Critical Edition of Benjamin Franklin's autobiography, which is the type of book that you can definitely pick up and read. There is an edition of Benjamin Franklin's autobiography that I really want. That existed years ago. I don't know any of the details about it except that it had Norman Rockwell illustrations. Norman Rockwell did, a dozen illustrations, more than that, connected with Benjamin Franklin in some way. And that volume of the autobiography had them all. It was a cute, musty old hardcover. I haven't seen it in forever. But this, you can definitely pick up the autobiography and read it and enjoy it without any critical notes at all, without anyone holding your hand. But the critical notes help a lot. This volume has really good ones, so they add to the interest. Okay, then we have Edward Seidensticker. We saw him just recently with, where is it? Low City, High City, somewhere. This is Genji Days. His journal, his diary about translating the tale of Genji. He kept notes on the process and his thoughts and what was going on in the world and in the news and whatnot while he was doing that, and then made it into a book, thankfully. What I wouldn't give if every translator did this. But maybe they do and just don't have the commercial viability. Then we have, I know what this one is already, I can spot it. This is Elliot Maggan. The Elliot S. Maggan. The S stands for surprise. This is Superman, the Last Son of Krypton. This came out when the Superman movie was coming out with Christopher Reeve and Gene Hackman. But the book bears very little resemblance to the movie. The book is a story on its own. And it's terrific. And this is a book club edition, I think, of some kind. It doesn't have anything on it of any kind. Does it have a price? No, it must be a book club edition. This, I have the Superman bookmark. You'll believe a man can fly. Doesn't seem like anything now, but 50 years ago, the special effects of Superman flying, especially in one particular scene, were unbelievable. And I love, Elliot Maggan wrote Superman comic books for years and years and years, and I love the book. I'm just sold over it. I'm a big Superman fan. Then we have, this is Vogue's Fireside book. A big anthology, a lot of anthologies in this room. They are golden. When you come over here to this wall and you just need something to perk you up for 2 hours, they are golden. This is by Frank Crowninshield, Crowny. we don't need to go on a long digression about the Crowninshields and the history of Boston. I'm the only one who knows that history now. I don't think the Crowninshield family is still extant. If they are, they don't know their own history. I guarantee it. They know the history of their vapes, but that's about it. But this is when Vogue had lots and lots of high-powered content. You can see it in these leaves if you can make it out. There's Ernest Hemingway and James Hilton, Claire Booth, Thomas Wolfe. A lot of names that aren't common anymore. Rebecca West. But you get the point. Once upon a time, Vogue is not known for the quality of its prose right now. Once upon a time, it was a paying market for really good stuff, short stories, literary profiles, stuff like that. And this book is a great collection of them. Then we have something that just recently came up on a Hedgehog book recommendation video. This is another book club edition of The Book of Merlin by T.H. White. The final chapter in The Once and Future King, in which a very old and very disillusioned King Arthur attends a conference underneath a tree to determine the worth of humanity. Homo ferox. And Merlin guides the discussion, but there are a whole bunch of other animals there. There's Arthur's dog, for instance. There's Merlin's pet owl. And also, the reason why I brought it up in the Hedgehog book review is that famously there is also a hedgehog. A pugnacious hedgehog who gets fed up pretty quick with how everybody at the meeting is thinking about Arthur, how they're treating him. He gets fed up pretty quick about that. And they decide to go out walking. It's late at night. Arthur has been excerpted from his timeline, basically. it was how we would put it. It's late at night, and Arthur and the Hedgehog go out wandering, and what they see is England. They see England stretched out before England's rightful king. And the prose, I won't read it to you, but the prose is incredible. Just that scene is incredible. The description of what they see when Arthur looks out on his kingdom. And it revives his spirits a lot more than any discussion about humanity would. Then we have a National Geographic book. This is The Vikings. One of these books of theirs are great. They have the usual great National Geographic photography, but also original artwork, trying to reconstruct in the most accurate way possible what Vikings would have been like at sea, at war, on land, in what have you. And then finally we have this thing, a work of reference. This is a reference work. This is from, the original version was in 1911, but this is from 1924. And this is the volume library. One big book of reference for all kinds of headings. There's art, government, law, literature, mythology, arithmetic, basic algebra. Everything is in here. From a time in the 1920s when this would have been invaluable. When, of course, there was no internet, keep in mind, but there also weren't that many itinerant encyclopedia salesmen, and a lot of those itinerant encyclopedia sets were too pricey for ordinary people who were making, $50 a week. Too pricey. So you get something like the one volume library, a knowledge library of some kind, or one big detailed volume. You will use the hell out of it. Your kids will use the hell out of it. You will use the hell out of it. And I mean, the volume library has obvious limitations. The history section is down 2 world wars. Maybe there's a bit in this edition. I think this is a later edition. There's probably a bit on the First World War, but of course no one guessed what was coming. In this edition, there's a line or two of speculation about what life there might be on the moon, of Mars or Venus. In this edition, medicine, of course, will seem like it's in its infancy. So you have to take that with a grain of salt, but there are also imperishable, immortal subjects where that doesn't change. The history, the literature stuff, poetry, basic math, basic agriculture, all that stuff is still enchanting to read through. And fortunately, this is on a shelf in my little book room. It is not subject to hordes of young people pulling it apart in order to crib for the paper they have to write. So, but anyway, that is it. That is the end of this Joe bookcase. So we're going to wrap up this bit of the library tour for now, and then I will retool it and rethink it, and we'll come up with something to do later in May, I think. So I'll wrap this up for now, and I will see you soon. Thank you, BookTube.